All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to point out that we are here for the July 11th meeting, and we do have 3 board members present. Mr. Martinez is on the phone with us, and Ms. Monica is traveling. So we do have a quorum. At this time, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Mrs. Bartels, we do not.
Okay. If I can get a motion?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay. I have a first and a second. Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. And at this time, if everybody could join us in a moment of silence, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. So, tonight's meeting, we have our public hearing, and I will be asking the board to make a motion to recess the meeting for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the proposed expenditure budget for the 2024-2025 school year in accordance with ARS 15-905.01. This will go as follows. A presentation will be presented to us. The board will have the opportunity to ask questions and make comments, followed by questions and comments from the public, and then we will adjourn the public hearing and reconvene to regular meeting. So at this time, do I have a motion?
I'll move to recess.
Second.
Okay, I have a person and a second. Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Mr. Barragon, it's yours.
Mrs. Bartels, our finance director, Valerie Caravelle, will provide you with a presentation. But if I may, before she starts, I failed to do this when we presented the proposed budget to you. There's a lot of work that goes behind putting a budget, especially when the legislature goes into the 11th hour to provide some of those budgetary information. And so I just wanted to say thank you for getting that done with a very, very short window. And I failed to say that at the last meeting. So thank you for all your hard work. I know it can get a little challenging, especially when the legislature kind of goes that long into the session. So Ms. Caravelle, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Berrigan. Good afternoon, Member Bartels, governing board members. Tonight we will review the proposed for adoption, the FY25 budget. I'm going to skip forward to our ADM. Since 2015, we have been in declining enrollment, and this slide doesn't show it, but as of 24, even with what we had pre-pandemic to where we adopted, we've continued in decline. The budget was based off of 7968, our ADM, and that is a 2.5% decrease from our 100th date in 2024. So we have continued to see decreases. So going back from the proposed budget that was presented on June 27th, there weren't many changes. We did get our new budget forms, so these are the final budget numbers. And the only change was an increase in the support level per route mile, so in transportation. It went from $289 per mile to $295, and that gave us a bump of a little over $38,000. So our GBL went from $78,431 to $78,469. The override remained constant, as well as a budget balance carry forward, and the other two adjustments for energy water savings and our Prop 123 add-on. Our capital budget, the proposed did not change to our adopted number based on the ADM when we calculate our unrestricted capital, it's based on the previous year's ADM, so there was no change there. Our proposed tax rates for '25, we have, as you can see, we looked at primary, secondary, and then the total tax rate. The difference is an additional 25 cents, and the majority of that coming from our new DAA override. With that, DAA was calculated at 4.49 million. It was fully restored in fiscal year '22. We had the legislative reduction from 2009 to 2021, and 38 million of that was reductions to our capital funding. DAA, we have seen an increase since '22, but that will not be ongoing after this fiscal year. In '26, we will lose that additional increase as well as the opportunity weight. With that, those losses of that additional funding that we've had for the few years, we do anticipate having challenges, financial pressures in fiscal year '26 and going forward. We will leverage ESSER 3 for continuity of services. Prop 206 is ongoing and will, add to the financial pressure that we feel in compressing salaries, and hoping to have a marketing plan to increase enrollment to help offset some of that pressure, and continue to identify other areas of efficiency and monitoring expenditures. With that, that's the final slide. Do you have any questions?
Are there any board members that have any questions or comments? I know we've seen most of this information.
Yes.
All right.
I was just going to say, it just really seems that the ADM is the whole problem here, and or the majority of it, I should say.
Right.
But I know that the district's working hard at seeing what kind of marketing can be done to help that. So we just, the board is behind the, district in any way, shape, or form that they decide to do the marketing. But, that seems to be I know we've had a lot of various reasons for that, a lot of it being the charter schools and now the voucher program, but a lot of it is not the lack of birth, and young people coming into the district or moving into Glendale, period, I think. So that seems to be, quite a challenge right there, something we don't really have a whole lot of control over. So I just wanted to make that comment.
And then pair that up
Absolutely.
with cuts via the state. Just it creates the perfect storm for us. All right.
Thank you.
So at this time, do we have any members of the public that would like to come up and ask questions? All right. So hearing none, then I need a motion to reconvene to regular session, please.
I'll make a motion to reconvene to our regular session.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. All right, do we have any call to the public today? Nope. All right, we are moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that members have questions about? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We do not have any reports and information at this time, so we are now moving on to the action items in 7A. The first one to come up would be our expenditure budget.
Mrs. Bartels, it's recommended that the governing board approve the expenditure budget for fiscal year 24-25 as presented.
Questions, comments, or a motion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to adopt the 2024 to 2025 expenditure budget as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. And moving on to 7B, we have the, what is my thing going? Facility use fee schedule and agreement. Mr. Barragan.
Mrs. Bartels, members of the board, we, on an annual basis, revise the facility use agreement. And I think with every year, we learn something different. We learn of different circumstances. And so what we've done in this revision before you, I believe you all have hard copies, is really one to reference additional statutes or policies, but also just tweak areas where we've seen that perhaps we did not think of. And so I believe, if I remember correctly, we used, there was an event last year in which there was a car wash and water was used that we did not account for. And so we want to make sure that we cover those bases. So Mrs. Bartels, members of the board, the revisions reflect some of that to just account for as many situations as we can come up with.
Yeah, that'd be hard. I noticed one of them is having insurance purchased at least one day.
At least one.
At least one day before. Yeah, little things.
So it is recommended the governing board approve the facility use fee schedule and agreement as presented.
Okay. Do we have any questions from board members regarding this item? All right. If not, then if I can get a motion and a second.
I'll move to approve the facility use fee schedule and agreement.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion passes. So now we are on future meetings and events.
Mrs. Bartels, members of the board, at this time, we don't believe we need the special meeting on the July 25th. Should anything surface or arise, the superintendent, I'm sure, will communicate that with you, and if necessary, find an alternative way to meet if necessary. But at this time, we don't believe that we need the special meeting.
Okay. All right. Do we have board members that have any items that they would like to bring forward for discussion? Okay. Hearing none. Okay. We can move on to the 9A, the superintendent report.
On behalf of the Superintendent Sagata Jones, she just wanted me to let you guys know that we're just all gearing up for, the new school year. We're excited about it and look forward to having our students and our staff back and educating our children. So we're just all working very hard. I know the staff's principals have emailed me, and they're trying to open up their campus to let teachers in and start, getting their rooms prepared. So we're excited about that, and we look forward to this new school year.
All right, thank you, Mr. Barragan. Governing board reports, Mr. Jaramillo?
Got nothing. Just stay hydrated and cool out there.
Ms. Wilson?
Yeah, I agree. It's just so hot out there. And I was thinking of our maintenance crew working. I don't know if they're working at the schools. Are they, or do they take off at 9 in the morning? I hope. But I often think about them trying to get the schools ready. And just, for our new teachers that came from out of state, sorry, but, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So, but looking forward to meeting everybody and seeing everybody again. I can't believe it's just right around the corner. So stay cool.
Okay. Mr. Martinez?
Just keeping it short and sweet. If we don't have the board meeting on the 25th, I absolutely look forward to seeing all the new teachers on the 22nd through the new teacher drive-through. And, of course, the big welcome back celebration at the Renaissance Hotel on the 29th. Really excited about seeing everybody and all of their matching T-shirts. So stay safe out there, and we'll see you all in a few weeks.
All right. I would just like to, agree with what was stated, but definitely for any of those that are new to the area, our heat is not one to be taken and underestimated by any means. It will catch up to you, and we have seen, unfortunately, some very sad outcomes recently. So please, please, please be respectful of the heat here. Enjoy the time with family and friends while you can. I know I am, because after I go home, I get to see my son and daughter-in-law again. So with that, I just need a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Wilson?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. You guys have a great